In this video, you will learn how to model a soapbox like this inside Autodesk Fusion 360. This design is a two-part assembly. The first part is this yellow part and the second part is this blue part. In this video, you will learn step-by-step process to design both these blue and yellow parts, and you will also learn how to make an assembly like this where you can rotate parts with respect to each other inside Fusion 360. And I would like to welcome all of you to my channel 3Dist. If you are first time watching my videos, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell notification icon. So whenever I will post tutorials like this, you will be the first to get notified. So let's get started into Fusion 360. Now we are into Fusion 360. So whenever you will first launch your Fusion 360 software, you will see a screen like this. And the first thing that we'll do is we'll click on this save icon and we'll save our design. I will give it a name Soapbox. I will make sure that the location is correct where I am saving my file, and then I will click on save. Here you can see onto the top the name just got updated. This means file just got saved, and this V0 means we had not edited any version of this file. Now the next step is to we'll make sure that the system of unit is correct. So we'll move on to this browser over here and we'll click on this small arrow that you can see on this browser tab, and this will just expand. And when it will expand, you will find this document settings option. Just expand it further and there you will find units. Right now my units are millimeter. So if you are seeing some different units, just click on this change active units option over here, and the moment you will click, you will get a box like this where you can select the type of units that you want to consider. Here I want to consider millimeter. So if you have some other units, you can change that to millimeter and then just press OK. Since I already had millimeter selected over here, I will press cancel. Now we are ready to start designing our soapbox. Now the first step is to create the sketch. I will click on this create a sketch tool over here, and then it will ask me to select the plane on which I want to create my sketch. I will select this front plane as a sketch plane. I will click on this plane, and now that plane is active to create a sketch. Now you can see all the sketch tools are all active under the sketch panel. Now the first thing that we want to create a rectangle of size 85 by 120 millimeters. So to make that rectangle, we'll move my cursor onto this create panel. We'll click on this area and then we'll move on to this rectangle tab, rectangle option over here. Then we'll click again. Then we'll move on to this center rectangle tool and we'll click on this tool to activate this tool. Now this tool is active. First thing is to specify the center point of your rectangle. So I will click on this center point onto this origin, and then I will drag my cursor outside and I can click anywhere onto my screen to create rectangle of any size. So I will do that. As you can see, my rectangle just got created of some random size, but my tool is still active with my cursor. So I will press escape on my keyboard to come out of the tool. So here you can see now my cursor don't have any active tools. The next thing that we'll do, we'll again move back to this create panel and we'll activate this sketch dimension tool. So I will click on this tool. As you can see, this just got highlighted in blue. This means this tool is active at this moment. And with my cursor also you can see that sketch dimension tool is active. So now we want to dimension two sides of this rectangle, since we are trying to create a rectangle of size 85 by 120 millimeters. So we'll click on this side and we'll drag my cursor towards outside, and then we'll enter this value 85 from my keyboard. Then we'll press enter. And here you can see this side just got updated with 85 millimeter. We'll do the same for the other side. We'll click on the other side. We'll drag our cursor outside, and here I will enter the values 120 from the keyboard and we'll press enter. So as you can see, now the color of this rectangle just got updated to black. This means all the parameters those are needed to define this rectangle we had already supplied. Now this rectangle is of 85 by 120 millimeter. I will click on this finish sketch option over here, and it will just take few seconds, and here it is. So this is our first sketch that we had created. And the moment you will create your first sketch under the browser, you will be able to see a new folder just got added with the name sketches. And under that sketches folder, you will find your first sketch that says sketch 1. So if you want to turn off this sketch all the time, just move into your browser, expand this sketch folder, and from this eye icon that you can see over here, if you'll click on it, you will be able to turn off your sketches. So I want to use this sketch right now, so I will turn it on again. Also, if you want to update the sketch values, just move your cursor to the bottom of your Fusion 360 screen, and here you will find this timeline. And here also, the first thing that you can see is this sketch. So if you'll hover over your cursor onto this sketch option and will make a right click, then you will get an option to edit your sketch. So if you'll click on this edit sketch, you can see again we are back into the editing sketch environment, and from here we can just double click on the values and we can change that. But since we don't want to change these values, I will simply click on finish sketch again, and again we are out of this sketchwork environment. Now the next step is to convert this sketch into 3D. We'll give it some height, and to do that we'll move our cursor to this solid tab, and under the create panel you will find this tool that says extrude. So if we'll activate this extrude tool, so as you can see this is just got highlighted, this means the tool just got activated. And the moment you will activate this tool by clicking, you will see a new box popped up onto your screen with multiple options, right? Now automatically this area just got highlighted in blue. This means this profile here you can see is selected right now. So if it is not selected, let's say I will deselect it. So you can see the profile is not selected. So to select this profile, what you have to do is just move your cursor inside the sketch, inside this closed area, and click anywhere to select it. So here you can see my profile just got selected. Now I will click on this home icon that you can see with my view cube. So this area is known as view cube. So I will click on this home icon over here. Now you can see I just moved my complete sketch into 3D visual style. Now you can see this arrow. So by using this arrow, if you drag this arrow forward and backward, you can give it some height. But since we already had the exact dimensions, so I can enter that values 45 into this box active. Also you can input these values inside this distance option over here, and then simply press OK. And the moment you will press OK, here you can see this is the first body that we had created. Also, if you are seeing this body in some different color, don't worry. By default, most of the time it is gray in color. But if you are seeing some different color, simply go into the inspect panel and click on this display component color option, and you will be able to see your default colors only. So right now you can see we did two steps. We created a simple rectangle sketch, and then we converted that sketch to 3D box. Now in the next step, we are going to add more feature to this box, and to apply those features, we'll move our cursor into this modify panel, and then under the modify panel, you will find this tool that says fillet. So we'll click on this tool to activate, and again you will be able to see a box like this, because this box just got popped up, and this includes all the fillet settings. So the first thing is that we had to select the edges onto which we want to apply fillets. So I will select these two edges, these top edges of this box, and will make sure that only two edges are selected, and then under the fillet option I will give it a fillet values of 15. So here you can see this is my fillet preview. If I will just orbit it little bit, and that we can do using this tool that says free orbit. So we'll activate this free orbit tool, and you can see on both the edges we had applied this fillet. Now my orbit tool is active, so I will press escape from my keyboard one time. Now we are back into my fillet tool, and then I will press OK. Since I am happy with both the corners filleted, I will press OK. Here you can see my both corners just got filleted by 15mm radius. Now in the next step, we'll add some chamfers onto these loop edges, and to do that again we'll move our cursor back to this modify panel, and here if we expand this modify panel, we'll find a new tool that says chamfer. I will activate this chamfer tool, and here you can see again a box will pop up with chamfer settings, and here also we had to select the edges where we want to apply our chamfer. So I will select this complete edge loop. Here you can see whenever I am clicking on any of the edge, it is selecting the complete loop. It's because here the tangent chain option is turned on. So we'll do the same, we'll orbit it little bit, we'll activate this free orbit tool, and then we'll orbit little bit towards backward, and then will press escape on my keyboard once, and then again I will also select this edge. So what I did, I had selected this complete edge on this side and also on the opposite side. Here I will specify the chamfer radius as 3.5, chamfer values as 3.5, and here you can see the preview. This is how it will be chamfered, and since I am really happy with the result, I will simply press OK to accept these values. And now if I will free orbit, here you can see this is the result we got. Now the next step is to make this body hollow from inside. But as you can notice, I can directly orbit my body without activating any orbit tool from here. And how I am doing this? Because there is a shortcut key for that, and that key is, if you will press your shift key on your keyboard with your middle mouse button on your mouse, external mouse, you can orbit it directly, and the moment you will release those keys, you will be out of the tool. So it's very simple and easy way to navigate across your 3D model. So the next step, as I said, is to make this body hollow from inside. And to make this hollow from inside, there is a special tool for that, and that tool is known as cell tool, that you can find under this modify panel, and here you can see your cell tool. So if you cannot see this cell tool over here, simply click on this modify drop down, and from here you can activate this tool, cell tool. And the moment you will activate this tool, again you will see a box like this where you had to select faces. So inside this body, I will select this flat face that is on the bottom or onto this side, and here I will specify the cell thickness, that is the thickness of the body, as 1.6. And the moment I specified the thickness, and if rest of the settings you also keeping the same, you will see a preview like this. So if you'll orbit it a little bit, you can see this body just got hollowed from inside, keeping a thickness of 1.6 millimeter. And if I'll press OK, I will get this result like this. Now the next step is to split this body into two different parts, top part and bottom part. And to split this body, we are going to use a tool called split body tool. But to use that tool, we had to create another sketch. So to create that reference sketch, again we'll activate this create sketch tool, and this time I will select this face of this body as a sketch face or a sketch plane. So I will click on this face of this body, and here you can see my sketch panel just got activated with all the sketching tools. Now I will activate this line tool from this create panel. The first tool is line tool. Under the sketch section, I will activate this tool, line tool, and then I will move my cursor and will place somewhere over here and will click onto this edge. Then I will move my cursor like this to create a line at particular angle, and since my line tool is still active, I will move my cursor and will make sure that I am able to see this midpoint option over here, and then I will click on this edge as well, and here you can see I just created a line like this. Now I will activate my sketch dimension tools, and then I will select click on this edge, and I will also click on this edge, and if I will drag outside, I can define the angle between these two lines. So I will click first, and then I will input the right angle. So the angle is 125 that I want to keep like this. Here you can see. Now if I will scroll my wheel on my mouse to zoom in a little bit onto this area, so here you can see this is how it looks right now. Now what I will do, I will also define the distance from this corner point to this point. So for that, I will first click on this corner point like this, and then I will click on this end point of this line and will drag my cursor towards outside and will enter the values that we want to keep. Here we want to keep 3.5 or maybe a little bit lesser, 1.6, and will press enter. So you can see that distance just got shifted to these new values. Now I will press escape on my keyboard to come out of this active tool, and here it is. Now I want this point onto this line. Now what I will do, I will click on this point and I will drag it and will make sure that it's sitting onto this edge. But you can see it is not snapping onto that edge. So what I will do, now I will move my cursor again. Under the sketch panel, you will see this completely new panel that says constraints. So just activate this constraint that says horizontal and vertical constraint, and then click on both the points, and both the points just got vertically aligned. And then I am happy with it. So I will just press escape on my keyboard to come out of this tool. Now this is the sketch we wanted to create. If I will zoom out a little bit, you can see, and since I had defined all the parameter for this sketch also, that's why this sketch also looks black. I will simply click on this finish sketch. There you can see. Now we created this sketch just to split this body. So this sketch is just a reference sketch to split this body. So to split this body, there is a tool that says split body tool, and that tool you can again find under this modify panel. So if you'll just move back to your modify panel, if you'll click on it, option over here, and you can, under this tool, you can see that this tool that says split body. Activate this tool, and again a window will pop up like this. And under this window, the first thing that we have to specify the body that we want to split. So definitely this body, this complete body that we want to split. So I can click anywhere onto this body to select this complete body. So here you can see the moment I had selected it, you can see one body is selected, right? Now I will activate this option, splitting tool. So this is sketch is my splitting tool. So I will click on this sketch only, and now this is acting as a splitting tool. So that you can see, if you click on this home view, you can see this sketch is acting as a splitting plane, right? And if you orbit it little bit, you can see it is something like this, that is acting as a splitting plane to split this body into top and bottom part. Now if I press OK, you can see this body just got splitted into two different parts, and that we can verify under this new folder that just got added under this browser. So if I will expand this folder, you can see there is a two different body. The first is body 1 and second is body 2. If I turn off the body 1, you can see this is my body 2, and if I will turn off the body 2, you can see this is my body 1. So what we did the basic shape already, body 1 and body 2 of our soapbox design. So now we'll move further and we'll add more features to it. Now we will add some other fillets onto few more edges, and to do that again we'll move on to this modify panel, and from here we'll activate this fillet tool. And then before adding fillet, we have to make sure that we are selecting the right edges, and for that we'll turn off the body 2 first, and then we'll select these two small edges. As you can see, if I will zoom in, you can see I had selected this edge, and here I had selected this edge, and here also under the pop-up box you can see it says two edges where I will apply some fillets of 10. Here you can see the preview. Now I will just click on this plus icon to add few more edges, and before we'll do that, I will turn off this body 1, and now we'll turn on the body 2, and then on the body 2 I will select these two edges again. So now these two edges that we had selected is for body 2, and now again I will input these values as 10 also. And now if I'll press OK, and if I'll turn on both the bodies, you can see fillet just got applied onto the top body and to the bottom body also. As you can see, this body 1 is the top body and this body 2 will be the bottom body, but body 1 and body 2 name is confusing. So what we'll do, we'll make a right click onto the body 1 and we'll activate this option rename, and we'll give it a correct name that says top body, and we'll do the same for this body 2. We'll select the body, we'll make a right click and we'll activate this rename, and here also we'll write bottom body and we'll press enter. And here you can see both the bodies we just renamed, so we don't get confused. Now the next task is to add some ribs onto the bottom body inside face, and to do that we'll turn off the top body first, then we'll orbit it little bit like this, and I will select this face, inside face of the bottom body, and we'll activate this tool called create sketch. So we'll create some sketch onto this face first. So we'll activate this tool, and now again our sketch tools are active. Now we can add some profiles onto this face. So first profile that we want to add is this line tool. So we'll activate this line tool, and I will zoom on onto this area, and I will create a line from this point to this point like this. But as you can see, I'm not snapping to these lines whenever we are creating these lines, because here there is no lines. We can only select these edges of this body. If I'll orbit little bit, you can see that we can only select onto these edges. There are no lines available onto this plane. So what I will do, I will move back again to this back view. For that, I will expand this create panel tool, and there is a tool called project. So I will go on to this tool, and this first tool, project tool, I will activate. Then I will select this side and this side. So here you can see these two sides are selected. Here you can see in the geometry tab, and if I'll press OK, now these two faces are now got projected as a sketch, and that we can verify. If I will turn off the body tool, you can see these two edges just got projected as a sketch. So whenever inside Fusion 360, if you are seeing any purple line, any objects that is purple in color, any sketch that is purple in color, this means that these projects, these profiles are projected profiles. So I will turn on my bottom body again, and now I can drag this and place this onto the projected edges. Here you can see like this. Now I will define the distance from this edge to this line. So for that, I will activate this sketch dimension tool, and then I will click on this edge, and then I will select this line and will drag outside and will enter the values. So this distance I just want to keep 15, so I will press enter like this. Here you can see. Now I will add few more lines, so I will press escape to come out of this tool. Then we'll activate this line tool, and I will create lines, straight lines like this. Here you can see I'm just trying to create a straight lines like this. I'm not worrying about the length of this line at this moment. I am simply creating the lines. And whenever, if let's say you had created a line at a particular angle that is not completely straight, so what you can do, you can simply select the line and you can apply this horizontal vertical constraint, and you can see that line just got perfectly vertical, and this icon says that this vertical constraint is applied with this line. Now I will do the same. I will create few more lines, one from the midpoint and two more from here and here like this. Here you can see. Now I will select all the end point of these lines using this window selection. Here you can see like this, and I can apply this horizontal vertical constraint. Now all these points are at same level. So if I'll move any one of the line, you can see all the lines are moving, right? Now I will move this line to somewhere over here, and then we'll activate this sketch dimension tool, and from this edge to this point I want to keep a distance of 1.6 and we'll press enter. Here you can see like this. Now we also have to define the distance between these lines, these blue lines. So we'll activate this sketch dimension tool again, and from this midpoint line to this line I want to keep 16, so I will enter 16, we'll press enter, and from this line to this line also I want to keep 16, so we'll do the same for the other side of the line. Now here I don't want this line as a firm line. You can see all these lines are black lines, but this line, this horizontal line, I want this as a construction line. So what I will do, I will select this line, I will move on to my sketch palette that you can see over here. So whenever you are inside the sketch environment, you will be able to see this sketch palette. So even if it is hiding like this, you can expand your complete sketch palette, and after selecting the object, you can just click on this construction line type, and here you can see your line just got changed to construction line type. Now if I will zoom out, you can see I am done with this sketch. I can click on this finish sketch option now, and here you can see under the sketch folder the third sketch just got added, and this is the sketch that you can see over here. I will click on this home view and I will orbit it like this, so I can see all my sketches, all the profiles that we created onto this face. Now the next step is to convert all these profiles, this straight line we created, as a rib. And to create that, to convert this profile as a rib, there is a special tool that is known as web, and that tool you can find under this solid tab. If you'll expand this create panel, you can see this tool web. I will activate this tool. A window will pop up like this with all the web settings. And the first thing is asking me to select the profiles. So I will click on the profile to select it, and to select all the other profiles I will click on this flip direction. Then we'll add all the 5 profiles. Here you can see I had selected all the 5 profiles. Now under the thickness I will specify a thickness of 1.6 millimeter, and then again I will click on this flip direction, and you can see all the profiles is getting converted as a rib. But here I don't want this much of height, so I will, under the extend type, I will just go in the extend type and I will change this to distance, and in the distance I just want to keep it as 3 mm in height. Here you can see. And also this thickness direction I want to keep it as a symmetric, so I will just change this to symmetric. I don't want to keep this on one side, I just want to keep it symmetric. So 1.6 mm thickness is being distributed symmetrically along the profile on both the directions. So now I don't want to add anything. I can add some draft angle, so but at this moment it is not really necessary since I am designing this for 3D printing. So after this, if you want to orbit it a little bit to see from all the sides, you can just use it and see it like this. So you can see it is looking very great. Ribs are getting rated onto my body. Here you can see that like this. And then since I'm happy with the result, I will simply press OK. And it will take few seconds to process, and here you can see my ribs just got added onto this body. Now in the next step, what I will do, again I will activate this create sketch tool, and this time I will select the top of my rib face as a sketch plane. So I will click on that. There you can see the sketch is now active. I will activate this line tool, and I will create a line from this edge to this edge, but I cannot find that edge, so I will simply create a line like this. Now I will activate my project tool from the create panel that I had already explained just few minutes earlier. So I will go on to this project and will activate this project tool and will project all these profiles. So I will select all these faces of my ribs. Here you can see, and will press OK. So all profile just got projected. Now I will drag my line and will make sure that it touching the end point of this line. I will also specify the distance from this edge to this line. So for that I will activate this sketch dimension tool. I will click on it to activate, then we'll select this edge and this line and will dimension this distance as 15 and will press enter. There you can see. Now I can click on finish sketch. I can orbit it like this to see all the profiles. So what I did, these profiles onto the top of the ribs I had divided into 2 parts, the other half on other side and the other half on this side. Now I will activate my extrude tool from the solid tab under the create panel, and then in this window you can see if I will select all these profiles that I had separated using this line. There you can see all these 5 profiles I had selected, and now I will give it some height by dragging like this, and I want this height to match with this face. So for that I will just click on this face, and here you can see these heights are just getting equal to this face. And if I'll go on to the bottom view, you can see this is exactly the same height, right? I will orbit it a little bit. And also when you are performing this operation, you have to make sure that under the extrude pop-up window, the operation should be joined, because this extension that we are adding, this must be joined with the base body, with the bottom body. And then I will press OK, and here you can see this is the shape we got. So these things we had added just to hold the soap inside this area. So whenever you are trying to close this piece with the piece that is attached with the wall, the soaps will not fall down. This will just hang using these pieces. So that's why I had added this, and I will add some chamfers also onto these faces that we added, these pieces that we added at the bottom. So again I will go on to this modify panel, will activate our chamfer tool, and I will select all these edges where we want to apply chamfer like this. There you can see I had selected all the 5 edges. There you can see 5 edges. And now here we don't want to use equal distance chamfer. Here we want to use two distance chamfer. So here you can see two distance chamfer is active. I will drag this arrow first, that is pointing towards downward. I will drag towards downward and will apply a chamfer like this. So this and this one, the other side, I want to decrease the chamfer. So here you can see the farther side, that is 13 chamfer, I just want to make it 15 or maybe 18. I just want to cover the complete distance. So I will try and see which work best. Maybe 17.5 or 17.6 or 7 or 8. If I will zoom onto this area, you can see 17.9 must work. Yes. So this vertical chamfer that we are applying is 17.9, and this horizontal chamfer that we are applying, let's make it 8 only, like this. And if you press OK, you can see instead of straight vertical edges, we had just changed this to little bit kind of inclined. So now it looks much better. Now onto these sharp corners, we want to apply fillets. So for that, again, we'll move on to this modify panel. We'll activate this fillet tool and we'll select these corners one by one. Make sure that you are not selecting anything else accidentally. You can see here I had selected all these faces accidentally. So you can just remove the selections and you can start again. You have to be very careful while selecting edges to apply fillets. Here you can see I had selected all the 5 edges only, strictly only 5 edges. Here you can see, and I will apply a fillet of 5. Now it is looking much better, more smooth. I will press OK. Here you can see. So this is the bottom body we just created using all these operations that we had performed at the bottom. Right. So I think we had just finished the bottom body. Now we have to start working on the top body. So to start working on to the top body, first we'll turn on the top body. Here you can see. Now I will turn off the bottom body, and here is my top body. You can see that. So in the top body also we want to add the ribs to give some strength to this face. So again I will click on the create sketch and will select this face as a sketch face, this face from the top body. So we'll click on it. Here you can see it is active right now. Again I will start creating the line. So I will go on to the create panel and I will activate this line tool, and here I will create the first line, and then I will activate the line tool again, second line. So each time when I am done with creating one of the lines, I had to press escape on my keyboard, and then again I had to reactivate the line tool to start creating the next line. Here you can see like this. And now I will activate my sketch dimension tool. I will make sure that from this side to this edge I am keeping a 16, and from this line to this line again I am keeping 16. We'll do the same onto the other side. From outer edge to this line I had to keep 16, and again from this line to this line I had to keep 16. So I had created only 4 profiles onto this top body, but here I will select all these 4 end point of this line and will apply this horizontal constraint. Now I will click on these points and will make sure that it is snapping onto this edge. So I will just place these points onto this edge. Now I am done with the profile. I will click on the finish sketch, will orbit it a little bit, and will repeat the same web tool to convert this as a ribs. So we'll move on to the create panel. We'll activate this web tool. We'll select all the profiles. By turning off this flip direction, I can select all the profiles, and again I will click on this flip direction, and here you can see I am able to create ribs of 3 mm in height and 1.6 mm in thickness, whereas they are equally symmetrically thickened around the profiles. Now I will click on OK. So here you can see we just added these ribs onto this body. but on this side it is completely fine, but on the other side you can see these ribs are just going outside from this body, because when we had used the web tool we did a small mistake, and that mistake we can identify if I'll go back to my design timeline at the bottom of my Fusion 360. The last tool that we had performed, we'll make a right click on it and we'll click on edit feature, and here you can see under this web tool we had turned on this option that says extend curves. So if we'll zoom onto this area, here you can see, and if I will turn off this option, you can see it is not extending the curve. So this is what we needed. Now if we'll press OK, you can see now they are completely fine. Now they are just completely finishing at that particular edge, and on the other side they are completely fine. So this is how, using design timeline, you can also correct your 3D models or designs very easily without wasting any time. So you don't have to worry about finding all those features. You just simply come onto the design timeline, identify that feature that you had used to create particular things into your design, and you can change it accordingly as per your need or as per your change needed. So here you can see. Now here a small thing that will add, will activate the chamfer tool from the modification panel and will chamfer these corners. So we'll apply a chamfer of 3 millimeter on all these 4 corners. 2, I will make sure that it is equal distance chamfer this time, and we'll apply a value of 3, and here you can see they are getting chamfered by 3 mm. I will press OK. So here is my result onto the top body. So if I turn on the bottom body also, you can see from the bottom view, here are my ribs on the top face and here are my ribs on the bottom face, and I had made sure that these ribs are not in front of each other. You can see this rib is coming between these 2 ribs, whereas this rib is coming between these 2 ribs. There is also a reason for it. I did like this, that you can see when we'll try to assemble these 2 pieces. Now as you can see, on the bottom ribs we had added these extra heights, right? And if you'll see this model from the bottom view, you can notice that from this area it is still open. So whenever the box is in closed position, the soap can fall from this area. So to cover this area, what we'll do, we will add the similar height. We'll extend these ridges like we did for the bottom piece. So for that, what we'll do, we'll rotate our object like this using our orbit tool. As you can see, I am pressing middle mouse button and shift simultaneously at the same time. So you can see I can orbit my object since my orbit is active. And now I will activate this create a sketch tool, and then I will click on the top face of this small ridge, 3 mm ridge that we had created, or 3 mm ridge, yes. So I will activate this create a sketch tool from this create panel under the solid tab, and then I will click on this top face as a sketch face. Now you can see, now we just got sketch tools active. Also we are in 3D view right now. So since we don't need the bottom body, so we'll turn off the bottom body and we are going to create the sketch on the top body. So what we'll do, to make a same line, we had created a line over here. If you remember, in the bottom body we created a separation line over here, and then because of that we got these areas separated, right? So before that, what we'll do, we'll go on to this create tab, we'll go on to this project tool and we'll activate this project tool, and we'll select these faces. So we'll get all the we get all the curves and lines projected onto this plane. So I had selected all these 4 faces, and now if I'll press OK, you can see all these lines that are purple in color just got projected. Now I will expand my sketch folder and I will find the older sketch that we used for the bottom body. So this sketch 4 I think is that sketch. If I'll just hover over my cursor onto the sketch, I can see the highlights. So sketch 5 is not the right sketch, sketch 4 is the right sketch. So I will turn on that sketch. Here you can see, I can see that separation line. So what I will do now here, to project this line onto the current sketch that is on sketch 6, we'll go on to the create panel again, we'll go on to this project and activate this project tool. Then we'll click on this line, so this line will be projected inside the sketch 6. And now if I'll press OK, that line just got projected. So if I turn off the sketch 4 now, you can see that line just got projected. Now if I'll orbit it little bit like this, here you can see, so we got that thing right. Now if I will turn on my bottom body so I can see the things very clearly. I will finish the sketch, and then again I will move back to the solid tab. Under the create panel, I will activate the same extrude tool to give these profiles some height. So here you can see under the profile tab, I had to select my profiles first. So I will select all these small profiles that we had created, and these, by using this arrow, we can extend it up to the height of this point. So to extend up to that height, we'll go on to the bottom view from the view cube so I can see it clearly, and then we can extend it like this up to that particular height. So that distance, I believe it's 18 millimeter. Here you can see from the distance tab, I had entered the values 18 from my keyboard, and the operation will be joined because we want this extension to be joined with the top body, right? So I will press OK. Here you can see this is the result we got. And again the same thing, we had to apply these chamfers that we had applied. So but we don't remember the values, so don't worry. What we can do, we can go on to our design history timeline and we can identify that chamfer. So this is the chamfer that we did, right? So if we'll make a right click on it and click on edit feature, here you can see we had used two distance chamfer on that particular area, and the distance was 8 millimeter and 17.9 millimeter. So I will cancel this one because we want to keep chamfer on these edges. So first I will turn off my bottom body, then I will orbit it little bit so I can see all these internal edges. I will activate my chamfer tool from the solid tab. From this modify panel, I can activate my chamfer tool. Then I will select all the edges very carefully one by one. Here you can see I don't need to press any key, I just need to keep selecting the edges that I want to select very carefully, right? And somehow if you had selected some edge accidentally that you don't want to select, then what you can do, you can press the shift key on your keyboard and you can click on that edge again, and that will get deselected. So here you can see I had selected the 4 edges only, and that we can verify under this box, 4 edges. And here the values that we had to assign is 8 by 17.9, but because equal distance chamfer is active, that's why both the distance are same. So I will change this to 2 distance chamfer. Here you can see now in this side I had specified 8 millimeter, whereas on the vertical side I will just specify maybe 17.9 or maybe little bit more higher. So I will change this to 18. Yes, 18 is the exact distance. You can see it is getting chamfered up to this face, right, flat face. So that is completely right. Now I will just press OK to accept this result, and here you can see this is what we got. So we got top body and we got bottom body, and these ridges, these ribs that we extended from both the pieces, just because whenever the soap is inside and if it is in closed position, it will not fall down. I will not say this model is perfect. Maybe it can have lots of problems. It may not be perfect. It can be further modified. But if you have any suggestions about this model, if you want to make it better, you can just comment below in this video. I am always open for any feedbacks that you are providing. Just give me the feedbacks, comment below in the video. We'll try to implement those changes in our model, because these files that I am designing over here, these files will be available for you to download, and you will find the link to download in the description below. Just go into the video description, and from there you can download the Fusion 360 files, STL files, and if you download the Fusion 360 file, you can completely edit this file as per your need, right? So let's move back to our modeling again. So what we did here, we had just finished the top and bottom body. Now we had to make some arrangement by using which we can attach these two bodies, right? Maybe some kind of hinge or something. So that is what we are going to design now. And to design hinge, first we'll orient it into the right position, because the top body will be on the top orientation and the bottom will be on bottom orientation. Here you can see it is something like this. So top will be on top and bottom will be on bottom. Now what I will do, again I will activate this create sketch tool, and this time I will select this face as a sketch face, the bottom body side face. Here you can see the face is getting highlighted. So I will click on this face, and now we are ready to start sketching on this face. So now we are trying to create some hinge kind of thing. So we'll start with the sketch. To start with the sketch, what we'll do, I will simply go into this create panel and will activate this tool called center to center slot. Here you can see, and I will specify the first center point of this slot and then the second center point like this, and I can create a slot like this. There you can see, it's very simple. And but here a very important thing that I want to keep here is, I want these circles should be concentric with these circles. So for that, what I will use, I will move my cursor into this constraint panel and I will activate this concentric constraint. I will click on this to activate this tool. Then I will select this circle and this circle, and here you can see both of them just got concentric. Now I will press escape to come out of the tool from my keyboard. Then we'll dimension these values. We'll dimension this one as, let's say, 8 millimeter. There you can see. And I will add one more circle by using this circle tool that you can find inside the create panel. And this is a simple center diameter circle. So if you are seeing some different kind of circle over here, don't worry. Simply expand this option from over here and then go into the circle, click on this arrow, and then you will find your correct circle tool, that is the center diameter circle. So I will activate that. Here you can see the circle tool is active. Now I will click on the center point of this circle and will drag outside like this, and this one I just want to keep 4 millimeters. So I will define the values of this as 4. I will press enter. Here you can see, or maybe a little bit higher, maybe 5. I think 5 will be good. Yeah, so this diameter is 5, the outer diameter is outer radius is 8 millimeters. So we have to change. We'll make this one as 8 millimeter and we'll make this one as 16. Yeah, that's right. Now, one more thing I want to do, I will activate my sketch dimension tool, and from this point to this point, I just want to keep 8 millimeters. So I will enter the value 8, and then I will again activate one line tool again, and I will connect from this point to this point like this, because I don't want to use this portion. That's why I had created a line like this. Now here, or else there is no need for that. What we can do, we can delete this line. So simply select the line and press delete on your keyboard, and that particular entity that we have just created just got deleted because that we don't need. Now I am happy with this one. So I will simply click on finish sketch. And here you can see what we did. We had created something like this onto this side face of the bottom body, right? And now before I will start extruding this profile that we had created, I will turn off the top body like this. There you can see, right? Now I will activate my extrude tool and will select all the profiles. Here you can see I had selected carefully, I had selected all the profiles we had created, and then we'll give it some height of maybe 2.4 millimeter, because this will act as a hinge, so this must be little bit thicker, right? So I will also select this internal area. So I had selected the complete profile. I don't want to exclude this circle at this moment. When I am extruding this on towards the right direction, that if you see it from the bottom view, you can see we are extruding this towards the outer side of the body, right? Like this. So right now it's 2.4, and if an operation here is join, I will press OK. There you can see this is what we created. Now I will orbit it little bit like this, and again I will turn on my sketch, the sketch profile that we created, to see the sketch back again, because every time whenever you will perform this extrude tool on any of the sketches, by default the sketch will get hidden. There you can see like this. But if you want to use some more features of your sketch, you have to come back to your sketch folder. You have to identify the last sketch that you did and turn it on. You can see now I can see my sketch. Now again I will activate this extrude tool, and this time I will select only this profile, and instead of extruding that towards that direction, I will extrude this towards this direction like this. And for this one I will, let's say I want to extrude again by 2.4. Here you can see like this. So, and we'll make sure that the operation is joined and we'll press OK. So this is like a some kind of hinge. I will turn off the sketch so I can see the model in a more better way. Here you can see something like this. Now what we did, if you'll go into your design timeline, we had added this feature using these two steps we did, and we had created a shape like this. Here you can see. So whenever in the design timeline, if I'm selecting both the steps by pressing shift on my keyboard, I can select multiple steps, and here you can see this is the feature that is getting highlighted. We had created using these two extrude steps. Now if I want to copy these two same thing onto the other side, there is a very special tool for that, and that tool is known as mirror tool. Here you can see. So if you'll go into your solid tab over here, if you'll expand your create panel, you will find this mirror tool. So I will activate this mirror tool now, and then under the object type inside this mirror window, here you can see under the object type, first I will change this to features, and from the features I will select these two features. Here you can see these two features we had selected. Here you can see these two are selected, 2 is selected. Now we had to specify the mirror plane along which we want to mirror this object. So mirror plane will always be the center mirror plane, right? Center, some plane that is on the center of the body. So I will select this mirror, activate this option first, and then I will turn on my origin, and then I will select this vertical plane because this vertical plane is exactly at the center of my body. So I will select this vertical plane, and the moment I will select this vertical plane, you can see the preview. So the same thing is getting replicated onto the other side, right? You can see the preview. It's not created right now, but you can see the preview just after selecting the mirror plane. So, and the compute type, you can see the compute type is adjust, so that's completely fine. I will press OK, and it will take few seconds to process, and here you can see this is what we created. So we had created a hinge on both sides of this bottom body, right? Something like this. I will turn off the origin now because we don't want to see that in the center of my body. Now what I will do, I will turn on my top body, and you can see the hinge that we had created is just getting intersected with my top body because there is no hole onto this area. On both the side there must be a hole onto this area, right? But the hole is not available over there. So what we can do, we can turn off the bottom body now, and we can only turn on that particular sketch to see that profile. So you can see whenever I had turned on that sketch 7, I can see that profile that we had created onto the bottom body face. So now I will activate my extrude tool and will select this internal profile and will extrude it towards this direction to make a through cut, right? So here you can see if we'll keep up to this distance, we are throughly cutting the body. So instead of 5, we can also make maybe 2 millimeters, and 2 millimeter is completely cutting the body, throughly cutting the body. If you'll see from the bottom view, it is almost above the thickness of the body, so that's completely fine. I can press OK, and here you can see this hole that we had added, right? But if I will turn on my bottom body, you can see the hole that we had added, and this piece also have the same diameter, right? And because of that there will be no clearance. So if we'll 3D print these two parts, there is a very less chance that these parts will fit smoothly with respect to each other because we had not taken any clearance. So we had to apply some clearance, we had to apply some spacing between these two faces. And to do that, we had to perform one more operation, and that we can do using this tool called press pull. So before that, first I will turn off this bottom body, and here you can see, I can see my hole. Right now the diameter of this hole, if I just click on the edge of this hole, I can select this edge, and I can, here on the right bottom corner, I can see its diameter. So right now it's 8 millimeter, right? So I will activate this new tool under the solid tab under the modify panel, and that tool is called press pull. So I will activate this tool, I will select this face only, and I will press pull it towards the negative direction by minus 0.4 mm. Here you can see. So I entered the value minus 0.4 mm. So it is getting press pulled in the opposite direction, and you can notice the hole size just got increased. And if I'll press OK, And now if I will select this, you can see now the whole diameter is 8.8. And that we can also verify. If I turn on the bottom body, you can notice the clearance over here. So we got some amount of clearance, right? But here there is a small problem. The press pull that we did a little bit higher clearance. That much of clearance is not needed. I think the 0.2 mm of clearance is enough. We had taken 0.4, but it is completely based on your 3D printer tolerance. If your 3D printer is not very much accurate, or if you are using a bigger nozzle size, then 0.4 is also good for you. So don't worry about that. So you can see we follow two steps here. One to create that hole, and the second is to extend the size of this hole. Now we want the same thing onto the opposite direction. So we'll use the same feature that we did earlier, that mirror tool that we can find under this create panel. We'll activate this mirror tool. Object type is already feature active over here. Only had to apply those features that we want to mirror onto the other side. Then we'll activate this mirror plane, and then we'll select that vertical plane as a mirror plane. So for that I will turn off the bodies so I can see the plane better. So this plane is my mirror plane. Here you can see, we can see the preview. If I'll turn on both the bodies, I can see that preview. And now if I'll press OK, here you can see on this side also that clearance just got applied. So this is how we did. If I'll turn off all the sketches and I will just compress my folders, so I get more space and more clear view onto my design. Here it is. Now we had just finished modeling all the features onto our top body and bottom body of our soapbox. Now it's time to convert both of them as a component and assign that rotational movement between both of them. So that we're going to do now. And if you really like the video up to this point, just press the like button in the video and also press the notification bell icon into my channel. So whenever I will be posting contents like this or tutorials like this, you will be the first to get notified. So let me show you how we can convert these two bodies as a component, because the assemblies, the joints, we can only apply between the components, not between the bodies. So if you'll go onto the bodies folder and if you'll expand it, you can see we have two bodies here. First is the top body and the second is the bottom body. So what I will do, I will simply select both the bodies by pressing shift on my keyboard. I can select multiple bodies and then I will make a right click over here, and here there is an option that says create component from bodies. So I can convert these two bodies as a component. So I will simply click on this tool, and here you can see the bodies folder is gone and only two components are active. Two separate components are active. One is the bottom body and other is the top body. Now to differentiate between these two bodies, there is one more special tool that you can find under this solid tab. If you'll move your cursor to the inspect panel and if you'll expand this one, you can see there is a tool that says display component colors. So if you have multiple components in your bodies, multiple components into your design, if you'll turn on this option, every component will be randomly assigned with different colors. So if I will turn on this one, here you can see it has Fusion 360 has randomly assigned two different colors to my two different components, just so that we can work easily. We can identify the different features of different components very easily. Right now we'll learn how we can apply the joint between these two bodies. So to apply the joint between these two bodies, first we had to fix one of the body, and that is really very important. So what I will do, I will select the top body and I will fix the top body, because all the time the top body will be fixed onto the wall, and we will be rotating only the bottom body, or opening and closing only the bottom body. But before that, the one feature that I forgot to attach over here is, like if you'll turn off the bottom body, you can see if this is the top body, how you are going to attach it with the walls, right? So definitely we need two holes on this face. So by using that holes, we can screw this piece, we can fix this piece on the wall. So for that, what I will do, I will move my cursor. Here you can see there is a timeline. This is known as timeline cursor. So I will move it one step back, and if I will move it one step back, you can see my bodies folder are again active, because the last step that we did was to convert my bodies to components. So I just moved it one step back. So again we are back when we were in a state when in our design browser there were two bodies. Right now I will turn off the bottom body and I can only see the top body. Now I will activate my create a sketch tool. I will select this internal face as a sketch face. Now I will turn on my center diameter circle tool, and first I will create some circle over here of any size and then the second circle over here. Now I will make sure that both of these circles are aligned with this center point, right? So for that I will activate this horizontal vertical constraint tool. I will click on the origin of this circle and this origin point. Now all three of them are aligned with respect to each other. Here you can see this constraint symbol shows that all three of them are in a straight line. Now I also had to make sure that both the circles are of same size, same diameter. So there is another constraint that says equal constraint. So if I'll activate this constraint and if I'll click on the circle perimeters, both of them now just got applied with the equal constraint. Now if I press escape to come out of the tool, and if I will change the size of this circle, here you can see if I am changing the size of this circle just by dragging, the size of other circle is also getting changed because both of them just got applied with a relation constraint, that is equal constraint. I will activate my sketch dimension tool. Here you can see I had activated the sketch dimension tool. I will click on any one of the circle and I will drag outside and I will specify the diameter of it. Let's say I want to use 3 M3 screws, so I'm taking 3.2 mm hole size. I will also specify the distance of these circles from this origin or from the edges. So any way you can do. I will activate the sketch dimension tool again. From this point to the center point of the circle, I will drag outside. Let's say I want to keep this 35, something like this. And the same on the other side. Let's say if I want to keep 40, I will press enter. So this way I had specified the exact position of these two circles. I will click on the finish sketch and these two circles we got. I will activate my extrude tool again and I will select both of these profiles, circle profiles, and I will extrude it towards the opposite direction so it is making a through cut on this body. If I'll press OK, you can see we got 2 holes on this body. So by using these 2 holes, we can attach this piece onto the wall, right? Now I will move my cursor towards the one step forward again, and the moment I moved it, again both of them just got converted to components. So here are my 2 components. Now we had to fix this top body, right? Here you can see we had to fix this top body, and to fix this top body, first we have to make sure that whether it is fixed or not. So for that, what I will do, I will turn on both the bodies. Here you can see, and if I try to move the body just by clicking and dragging the body, you can see I cannot move the bottom body. Now if I try to move the top body, we can move that. So you can see that right now it is completely different. We want to fix the top body, but the top body is moving, whereas the bottom body is fixed in the design space or in the design work environment. So this is the movement that we did. To move it back to the original position, I can simply click on this revert position option. There you can see. Now if you'll go and check out your browser, you can see this small anchor icon attached with the bottom body, and this anchor icon shows that somehow we had fixed our bottom body already, but we wanted to fix the top body. So first what I will do, I will make a right click onto the bottom body and I will click on this option that says unground from parent. So here you can see that anchor icon is gone. Now this bottom body is also free to move across this space. Again I will revert the position. Now I will make a right click on the top body and I will click on this ground to parent. So now top body is fixed and bottom we can move anywhere across the space. So again I will click on this revert position. Now I will orbit it a little bit, and now I will show you how we can apply the joint between these 2 components. Now to apply the joints, just move the cursor under the solid tab. There is a special section that says assemble, right? So if you'll expand the assemble folder, there is a tool that says joint. So I will activate this joint tool, and the moment I will activate this joint tool, I can see a window like this. Here you can see I had to select the snap point on both the components, on the component 1 and on the component 2 also, to specify like which kind of movement we want. So if I'll move my cursor, let's say I'm selecting this bottom body as a component 1. So if I'll move my cursor, I can click on the face, center point of face of this component. Here you can see. So if I will click on it, you can see that got selected. Now I have to specify the second snap point on the second body. So for the second body, again I will click on that particular center, but if I am hovering my cursor onto the edge, I can see that center, and the moment I move my cursor to select it, it is getting hidden, right? So to make it, bring it back again, what we'll do, first we'll move my cursor onto this edge, then I will press Control, and then I can select that one. There you can see that got selected, and the moment I selected that, a new relation just got applied between these two components, and that relation is, here you can see, it's rigid. So this symbol that you can see is for rigid symbol. Here we want to apply a revolute kind of joint. Here you can see that revolute kind of joint. But also, if you'll go on to the bottom view and if you'll see your body clearly, right now here the body is just intersecting, so we had to move our body a little bit towards the right. So if I'll click on this cursor and then we'll assign some negative values, let's say -1, I can move it towards the right direction. But again, we had moved it a little bit higher, so that's why it's getting intersected on this side. So maybe 0.8 mm is the right value, so I will just write 0.8, and here you can see now on both sides they are completely and perfectly aligned, and also the revolute type of joint is assigned over here. Now I will go on to the motion, and here you can see uh, the joint that we had applied here is of 360-degree rotation. So if we'll preview the motion, here you can see it's getting rotated by 360-degree from my body itself. So what I will do, I will simply press OK over here just to assign that joint, and now the moment I had applied that joint, here you can see in the design history a new joint folder just got created. So if I'll expand this folder, here is my revolute joint I had applied between these two bodies. So anytime if you want to animate your joint, just make a right click on that particular joint and click on this animate joint. So here you can see this is how it is going to move with respect to this top body. So orientation will be something like this. So if it is a vertical orientation, so the bottom body will be moving 360-degree around this body. Now to restrict the movement at a particular angles only, now we'll do the other thing. We'll go on to the joints again. We'll click on the joint that we had applied. First press escape to turn off your animation from the keyboard. Then go on to the joint folder, click on the joint, make a right click, and here you will find a edit joint option. So I will activate this edit joint option. Then I will move to the other section of this box that says motion, right? And in the motion tab, I will turn on this maximum option over here, minimum and maximum option over here, and here I will assign 90, and we'll see how it is changing. So now if you click on the preview limit, you can see my body is only rotating from this point to the 90-degree angle that is in the horizontal orientation. So this is what we needed. From 0 to 90, the second body only had to rotate. So we had applied the constraint over here in the joint motion. So we had specified the constraint angle over here to the bottom body. And now if you press OK, now if you click on the bottom body and try to drag it, the maximum you can go up to the 90-degree only. So we had applied a joint over here that you can see with the name revolute 1, and we had also applied a limit of 90-degree. There you can see like this. So it will never go inside your body, so it is only rotating up to that particular point. So this is how you can apply the joints between the body. So I think if I turn off the revolute, this is just for the visibility. So if I turn off this from over here, this does not mean I had turned off the joint. I had only turn off the visibility of that particular joint symbol that you will be able to see onto that particular corner. So now you can see this is the body that we had designed. This is the soap box that we had designed that we can attach with the wall, and you can place your soap over here. So whenever you are done with it, you can keep it like in folded position like this. So all the water will be drained out from the bottom. So I think if you like the design, because this is a very simple design I did using Autodesk Fusion 360, and I had shared lots of concept, lots of tools, techniques, how we get up to this point, right? So if you like this video, guys, again I'm repeating, just comment below in the video, subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon, so whenever I'm posting tutorials like this, amazing tutorials like this, you will be the first to get notified. So keep learning, keep growing. Thank you so much, guys.